Hey, Rick Sammon here. What, were you expecting Julian Cost or Scott Kelby, two of my good friends? Well, go to Photoshop World and check them out. They're wonderful instructors. All right, you're looking at a very boring picture of what's called a screaming devil. These are buses that scream through the streets of Panama. They're very colorful. There's action everywhere. People running out of the way. Well, this picture doesn't have a lot of action, and it doesn't have a lot of color. I'm going to show you how to fix that, how to add some pizzazz to it. Now, before I get going, I want to tell you I'm working on a copy of the image, and I'm not using what's called an adjustment layer. I cover adjustment layers in my other DVDs, but for now, I'm just going to work on the copy. So let's add the color first. I'm going to go up here to Image, Adjustments, go down here to, I'll use Saturation for now, and boost the saturation. Could that be easier? Image adjustments, use saturation, boost the saturation, click OK. Picture still looks a little flat. I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, go down here to Brightness, Contrast, and look at that, boosting the contrast. Here's the before picture, here's the after picture, before, after. It's a good idea to have your history palette open so you can see the results of all your hard work. Okay, how do I get this great action added to the scene? Well, I have my Layers palette open. I'm going to click here, drag down here to the Create New Layer icon. So I have two layers exactly the same, one on top of the other. I'm going to go to Filter, Blur, go down here to Radial Blur, Filter, Blur, Radial Blur, and here I've selected Zoom. We can select Spin or Zoom. People running out of the way kind of spin through the streets, but right now I'm just going to use Zoom. And if you click on this little center point here, you can move this around. So if your bus was off center, I'd move it here, but it's centered. So I'm going to move the amount here. The more you move it over this way, the greater the effect. I'm going to click, I'll leave it about that. I'm going to click OK. So now, look at this. I hope I didn't scare you. Now it looks like the bus is coming right toward you, but we can't see all the cool detail there. So I'm going to click on my eraser tool, and starting from the center, if you hear that clicking in the background, I'm using the left bracket to make it smaller, right bracket to make it larger. Look at that. Now I can see the detail. As I move out from the center, I'm going to go up here to my opacity and reduce that, so the erasing happens at a slower rate. So now the picture has a lot more action, but I can do better. I'm going to go over here to my crop tool, and I'm going to crop the picture like that. And when I move the crop tool outside the image area, I get this arrow with two arrows on the end, this line with two arrows on the end. So I'm going to tilt that just a little bit to create what's called the disequilibrium effect. I'm going to hit the return button, and then I'm going to go back in and crop, and look at that. So now my picture has pizzazz. Let's move this up here. Here's the picture. Boring, right? I agree, but I took it. But today I really feel that photography is a 50-50 deal. 50% image capture, 50% digital darkroom work. So, words of advice. Keep that in mind when you're taking a picture, and also when you go to Panama, be careful. Be careful. Watch out for the screaming devils.